All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the world of microRNA.
Which, as you might have guessed from the Nobel Prize in Medicine this year, is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, these tiny molecules, tinier than you can probably imagine, they're quietly orchestrating this whole symphony going on inside us.
A symphony that we, for a long time, really didn't appreciate. I mean, we knew DNA was important, right? The genes in our DNA are the blueprints for all the proteins our bodies make. That's Biology 101.
Right, the instruction manual for life.
Exactly. But what we didn't fully understand was how those instructions were actually being used. Like, having the blueprints is one thing, but you need someone on the construction site making sure everything is built at the right time, in the right order.
And that's where our Nobel Prize-winning microRNA comes in.
Precisely.
So we're talking about something that's not DNA, not a protein, but...
It's still a piece of genetic material, a tiny piece called microRNA. And what it does is regulate gene expression.
Okay, hold on. Regulate. Give me an example here, because this is where it always gets kind of fuzzy for me.
Sure, think of it like this. Let's say you have a gene that makes a protein. Maybe it helps you digest lactose. You drink a big milkshake, tons of lactose. That gene needs to be turned up so you can break down all that sugar. But what happens when you haven't had any dairy in days?
You don't want that gene working overtime if you don't need it.
Exactly. That's where microRNA steps in. It acts like a dimmer switch on a light. It can fine-tune the level of gene expression, so you're only making as much of that digestive protein as you need at that moment.
So it's like preventing things from being wasted, making the system more efficient.
Exactly. And this is happening all the time, all over your body for all sorts of genes. It's how your cells adapt to changes, control their own internal environment. It's really quite remarkable.
Okay, so back up just a bit, though. How does the microRNA actually, mechanically do this?
All right, so let's get a little technical. You've got your DNA, right? That's the master blueprint locked away in the nucleus of the cell.
Safe and sound.
Exactly. Now, when a cell needs to make a protein, it makes a copy of the relevant gene from the DNA. That's called messenger RNA, or mRNA.
Okay, got it.
The mRNA carries the instructions from the DNA out of the nucleus to the ribosomes, which are like the protein factories of the cell.
And the microRNA interferes with that process somehow.
Exactly. It binds to the mRNA, and depending on how well it matches up, it can either block the mRNA from reaching the ribosome or even cause it to be broken down. Either way, no protein gets made.
Wow, so this tiny little thing is basically calling the shots on what gets made and when.
In a way, yes, but it's not acting alone, of course. MicroRNAs are influenced by all sorts of things, signals from other cells, nutrients in your bloodstream, even your circadian rhythm.
So how does it even know what to do, where to go? Is it just bouncing around randomly until it bumps into the right mRNA?
Well, there's a lot we still don't know, but it seems like microRNAs are guided by a complex network of signals and pathways within the cell.
Give me an analogy, because my brain is starting to hurt a little bit.
Okay, imagine a fan with multiple speeds. Okay, the fan is a gene, and the speed it's running at is the level of gene expression. Now, imagine you have a bunch of little remote controls. Those are your microRNAs. Each remote can target a specific fan and adjust its speed up or down.
And something is controlling the remotes, like some kind of master control panel.
Exactly. That's the really fascinating part. The cell's internal environment, influenced by all sorts of internal and external factors, is like that master control panel, sending out signals that tell the microRNAs which fans to adjust and how.
Wow, okay, so it's like this intricate dance happening inside every single cell.
Absolutely. And just like any dance, if one partner is out of sync, the whole thing falls apart. Which brings us to why microRNA is so important for understanding things like disease.
Right, because if microRNAs are controlling this delicate balance, then something going wrong with them could really mess things up.
Exactly. Take cancer, for example. Cancer cells often have mutations that disrupt normal microRNA activity.
So some of their dimmer switches are broken.
In a way, yes. This can lead to genes that promote cell growth being stuck in the on position, causing cells to proliferate uncontrollably.
So it's not just about the genes themselves, but how their activity is being regulated.
Precisely. And this is where the therapeutic potential of microRNA gets really exciting.
You mean like actually using microRNAs to treat diseases? Is that even possible?
It's definitely an area of active research. Scientists are exploring ways to develop synthetic microRNAs that could be delivered into cells to target specific disease-causing genes.
So like creating a custom-made microRNA remote control to go in and fix a broken gene.
You got it. For example, in some cancers, certain microRNAs that normally suppress tumor growth are underproduced. So researchers are looking at ways to deliver synthetic versions of those microRNAs to the cancer cells to try and halt their growth.
That is seriously cool. So we've got these tiny molecules discovered thanks to a tiny worm that could hold the key to treating some of our biggest health challenges.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. As we delve deeper into this microscopic world, who knows what other incredible discoveries await?
And that's what's so fascinating about science, huh?
Well,
The more we learn, the more we realize we don't know. But hey, that's what keeps things interesting.
absolutely. And speaking of interesting, here's something to ponder. If scientists can harness the power of microRNA to treat diseases like cancer, what other aspects of human health could be positively impacted?
That's a thought-provoking question for sure. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible world of microRNA as much as I did. It's clear these tiny molecules have a big future ahead of them, and I can't wait to see what other mysteries they help us unravel.